Evening, the judges are Jerry Roth, Dave Moretti, and Art Lurie. Your referee, Richard Steele. This is the main event of the evening. 10 rounds of boxing in the heavyweight division. Introducing, in the red corner, fighting out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, weighing 212 1/2 pounds, with a professional record of 34 wins, 10 defeats, 25 KOs. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the fighting cowboy, James Quick Tillis. And in the blue corner, fighting out of Los Angeles, California, weighing 201 pounds. His professional record consists of 10 wins, 1 defeat, with 8 KOs. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Avery Rawls.
Okay, I gave both fighters the instruction in the dressing room. I want to caution you again. Obey my commands at all times. When I say break, stop punching, protecting yourself at all times, and taking a step back. Is there any question? Shake hands, good luck.
It's scheduled for 10. James Quick Tillis in the white, and right across his belt line is the word title, as if he were trying to remind himself that indeed he still wants a shot at that heavyweight crown. In the cardinal in gold, we've got Avery Rawls. He KO'd Kenny Davis back on September 12th in his last go. James Quick Tillis. Boy, he's been in against every major heavyweight in the last 5 years, I guess, except Spinks and Larry Holmes. Two that come to mind, but he's fought everybody else. Tubbs, I guess he hasn't been in with either, but boy, Witherspoon, Pinklin Thomas,
Coetzee, Marvis Frazier, Carl Williams,
Shavers,
Ernie Shavers, whom he beat, Greg Page, Pinklin Thomas, Mike Weaver. The list goes on, as they say.
Boy, does it ever.
Right now, I think the key element in this fight is how much movement, how much quickness will James Tillis give Avery Rawls. The more he gives him, I think, the more problems Avery's going to have. Trouble with boxers.
Tillis came in at 212 1/2 and Rawls at 201. He looks much bigger when you see him there than he does in street clothes. He has a very slim appearance in street clothes. And, of course, he's well over 6 feet. He's about 6'3 1/2, maybe 6'4. And Tillis is at the 6'3 mark or thereabouts. And I asked him earlier, wouldn't it be easier to come down to the cruiserweight, take off 5 or 6 and come down to 195? And he said, no way. There isn't an ounce of fat in his body, was the answer.
The jab.
Left hand by Tillis, yeah.
Now, James Quick Tillis is known for his left jab. It's not as good as it was when he was a young fighter when we were first showing him on ESPN, but he's still got a pretty good jab, and he's got a good straight right hand still.
Minute 30 remaining here in round number 1. It's been Whackout City here at the Showboat in Las Vegas tonight. This is our main event. Good, solid combination by Tillis.
And that's when Tillis is at his best. And, you know, one of the people, I think it was Bruce Trampler here, one of the top-ranked executives, who said, you know, for 3 rounds, James Quick Tillis can still give any heavyweight alive plenty of trouble. And I think that's basically true. At any point, any given 3 rounds in a fight.
1 minute remaining here in round number 1. Went 10 with Tyson, yet he was in Sydney, fought Joe Bugner. Lost to Bugner, claimed that he had beaten Bugner, but got the short end of the decision over there.
Rawls himself using his jab pretty well here in the first round, though. And one way to nullify the other guy's jab is to use yours effectively.
But now let's be frank about it. The speed of Tillis would appear to be the best thing he's got going. Rawls is kind of a slow plodding type, is he not, Al?
Definitely. Now, this is where Tillis, I don't think, wants to be, unless he wants to make Rawls punch himself out. Good right by Rawls. Didn't have any impact to Tillis.
And yet Rawls is credited with having a pretty good right hand. We're closing down, half minute and less remaining here now in round number 1. Been a good first round for heavyweights. Rawls and James Quick Tillis. Tillis is a man of considerable talent. I don't know how much determination he's had about his career and how badly he's wanted some of those important bouts, but he certainly knows his way around the ring. He's a very, very tried and tested veteran. We're back in the corner with Rawls. Contrasted with that, Avery's only had 11 fights. 8 of those have won by knockout, and he's 10-1 so far.
Every off that lazy left jab, pick it off, time it, pick it off with your left hand, hit him with the right, come back with the hook. You hit him with the body not coming back to the head.
Avery Rawls' best moment in the second round. This freight train right. Look at the left hand of Tillis. It is way down at his waist, and Avery Rawls able to land it. At the end of the round, they both went toe-to-toe. The hand speed of Tillis becomes a factor. Left hand, you can see how left hook, though, slapping by Tillis. He's never been known as a great left hook artist.
Here we go, round number 3. Tillis comes out a little quicker. Starting round number 3, Rawls and he meet right in the center of the ring. Tillis, good body shot with the left hand.
Tillis used to have a very quick lead right, like the one we saw him throw against Mike Weaver in those highlight films. It's not nearly as quick as it used to be.
Toe-to-toe they stand.
And you can see from that exchange how much wider Tillis's punches are than in the old days, than when we saw on those tapes. He used to be just a pinpoint straight puncher.
He still has the quick about him, though, at least for a given period of time in any one brief session in the round for 8 or 10 or 15 seconds, which can be a lifetime. His hands are as quick as ever. Maybe not as long. He's doing pretty good with that left hand in this round now.
Yeah, he is. I think Rawls is making him feel those body shots and the right hands he's landed. Avery is a good puncher. There's never been any question about that. And you have to be impressed with how committed Rawls is to the body attack.
Tillis pecking away. Blocks that left, picks it off. That's the place to be, I shouldn't think, for Tillis. He's trying to just manhandle and shove Rawls around a little bit. Minute 30 remaining. I don't think the comment by Tillis in his corner went unnoticed that he said, hey, I'll get him, I'll get him. You know, as if to say, this guy doesn't belong in here with me, that type of thing. Well, Rawls, you know, is he makes no bones about it. This is the biggest fight of his career and the biggest chance for him. And he says he's worked hard for it. He's not going to come away a loser.
He's fighting in a very workmanlike fashion so far. It's obviously a very close fight at this point. But Rawls is trying very much to do the things he knows he can do against Tillis. Work the body and occasionally land that right hand.
I'm going to suggest to you that in this closing minutes, this round is going to be won by one of these two men that is pretty even right now. What do you think about it?
I would agree with that statement.
Somebody's going to steal this round in the last 20 or 30 seconds that we have remaining here in round number 3. Who's going to impress the judges in one form or another? Half a minute remaining. Round number 3. Good right hand by Rawls. Nice uppercut by Tillis.
Come on, punch it out, punch it out.
Tillis with a nice combination. 15 seconds remaining. Tillis again throwing a couple of good punches. Nice uppercut. Left. Yeah. I think you know now who won round number 3, don't you? That's it. We'll be back for round 4.
Avery Rawls, I mentioned the body attack, and he has really tried in earnest to go downstairs. And when Tillis languishes on the ropes, he can do it. You see him banging the body, feeling that he will slow Tillis down later. Tillis, though, showed his ability from the distance to throw some combinations, but it was the Rawls right hand in that exchange that was really most effective.
All right, here we go. Round number 4 scheduled for 10. James Quick, Tillis in white. Avery Rawls in the cardinal trimmed trousers. They're gold, cardinal and gold. Shades of Archie Moore. Archie used to show up in that formal length attire.
The old mongoose.
Solid right hand by Tillis, but Rawls didn't back up, just keeps coming on. Bang into the body. Boy, you can hear that smack, and he nails Tillis with the right hand here in the 4th, and Tillis is giving ground.
Tillis came back with his own left hook, but this is the kind of fight Avery Rawls needed to make. I'll tell you what is really impressive about Rawls so far is his body work. Better, I think, than we've seen even in any of his other bouts. Tillis not fighting as one would expect him to fight. Again, not using his boxing skills as well as he'd like. Getting into exchanges with Rawls. Good straight right.
That's one of the few straight to the point punches Tillis has thrown. He's been kind of slapping with that left hand, at least in that previous exchange. Now they stand together, and Richard Steele steps between them. Interested in the comments in Rawls' corner between rounds 3 and this one here, round 4, they said, well, you won the round, but you lost the last 30 seconds. Interesting to see how the judges scored that. Because Tillis did have the flurry at the end of the round that appeared to have carried it.
I thought it was a close round to that point, as you had mentioned.
Don't hold it, Avery.
Tillis came in at 212 and Avery Rawls at 201.
Tillis trying to flurry from the outside. He's not as accurate as he'd like with that right hand, or the jab for that matter. Rawls, to his credit, doing a little better defensive job, I think, than Tillis might have thought he would.
Rawls has some sock about him now, so does Tillis, but Rawls has knocked out 8 of his 10 opponents. He's 10-1, and he's on a string of 3 straight coming into this one.
Tillis just knocked out Lorenzo Boyd about a month ago in the 3rd round. He can still sting with the right hand.
Well, he's almost jumping off his feet throwing that left hook, isn't he?
Yeah, and that is something he started to do in recent years, and not the greatest habit.
Yep, he's nailed Rawls with a couple of solid punches. Rawls keeps coming back, throwing that right hand of his own, and he may have hurt Tillis with that left.
They exchanged left hooks, and Rawls has shown he's got a good left hook. He is not just a right-handed clincher.
And I tell you, pretty good chin, too, out there, Al. They've taken some shots, each in turn. This is round 4, scheduled for 10. The end of round number 4. Sports Center to follow. Here we go. Round number 5. Neither man has been down. Each in turn has jolted the other, and this is a very close fight indeed.
Mike Scott or Dwight Gooden? Guess we'll find out, huh?
I would. You want to make a? We'll just take a guess.
I'll say Scott.
Oh, well, we haven't got any. No bet.
Okay.
I think Scott wins it. Yeah.
And the winner of this one very much up for grabs. I've got the fight dead even at this point.
In fact, I think I'm going to make a guess, a prediction that Fernando came in second in the ballot.
That's right. I shouldn't discount Fernando. Yeah. Look at Tillis turn to the southpaw stance. He's done this before. It's not the first time we've seen that from him in a bout. You know, an intriguing question as this fight goes on. Many believe that Tillis has the advantage because Rawls has only gone 8 once, and in his last couple fights he's gone 2 and 3, and in the one he went 8, he lost to Mike the Bounty Hunter. But Tillis has a habit in some of his recent fights of fading a bit in later rounds, even though he's been 10 and even 15 rounds. So who will fade if this fight goes on?
True that Rawls has never gone 10, and with the adrenaline flowing, enervating too. There's no mistake about it. This is a big fight for Rawls, and just the thought of it and the exertion of it out there, much to say nothing of the abilities of Tillis, it's enervating. And think of going 10. Interesting. Something to think about.
Come on, guys, let's work.
Richard Steele trying to pull them apart. He's a big man, 212 and 201. Tillis, the bigger of the two. Minute 30 remaining here in round number 5.
Work to get out. Work to get out.
Neither man marked. Neither man has been hurt, I don't think, by the other. Any appreciable extent.
Lead right hand by Tillis getting in.
Yes.
And boy, it could be such a good weapon for him, but as I said, it's not as quick as it once was, and I don't think he's setting down on it like he'd like also.
You see the time showing, a minute remaining. This is round number 5, and it's scheduled for 10.
Rawls is moving forward, Tom, but he's not really moving his hands very much. Now, we're in the 5th round here. I think you've got to watch him a little bit. As I said, he's only been 8 once, and in that one he lost.
Tillis, those punches are scoring, but they're slapping punches. That left hand especially. He's got a slapping at him.
I think we're reaching a key point in this fight. Tillis starting to understand that if he throws those flurries, he might be able to steal some rounds, and Rawls is loading up for one punch.
There's a smear of blood now under the left eye of Rawls. Apparently a cut there. We'll take a look at it between rounds. Under the left eye.
Keep him up, keep him up.
No danger to the eye or the sight, but it is a nasty-looking cut. We'll be back to see about round number 6 as the heavyweights get together here at the Bow.
Do something there. Put him on my head, okay? Put some on his head.
Bo Williford hit Tillis with as tough a couple of shots as he's had so far in this fight. He's slapped him pretty hard over there.
Hey, opponent's working, and you gotta work. This fight yours if you work.
I think he's right. I think Tillis showed in the last round that he's now starting to hit that man Avery Rawls with some of the shots he wants, but he's not throwing them that often.
Right on the cheekbone, a cut that's been stopped and patched up. We'll see whether or not it opens and is a problem for Avery Rawls as the men go to the jab here to start round number 6. You gave the 5th to Tillis, didn't you?
Yes.
Have him ahead by a point.
I thought he did more work consistently over the course of the round. Avery came back well later in the round. Good left hook downstairs, and that's the wild card. Rawls has done very good work to the body. Will it have an impact on Tillis as we head into the last part of this fight? A couple of low blows by Tillis.
Steele cautions both men to keep him up. Tillis trying to go to the body.
Let's fight, you guys. Break.
Rawls is in the cardinal and gold trunks and Tillis in the white.
Rawls said today, I'm going to get into James Tillis's gas tank. And he meant that by going to the body. Of course, we're heading into the stage in the fight where we're going to see where that tank ends up.
Just how far toward empty it is for both of them, I might add, because as you've indicated, Rawls hasn't gone 10 ever. Now they've got their feet tangled up. Steele's going to talk to both of them.
Watch the wrestling, okay? Watch the wrestling. Watch the whole left fight.
He cautions both men, very emphatic about it.
I think probably most of that is being initiated by Tillis, who really, his game is not on the inside with Rawls, and he wants to kind of hold on until they can get elsewhere. There you see, Tillis immediately holds on to Rawls.
Yeah.
Well, they used to compare Tillis when he was younger to Muhammad Ali for different reasons, for the speed and the jab and the movement. Now, you could compare him to an older Ali, because remember how Ali used to hold on the inside, never did want to fight on the inside until they could break.
And used to sit on the rope with the old rope-a-dope and just conserve energy and confuse his opponents.
The difference is James Tillis didn't develop in that middle period of his career as well as Ali did.
You know, it's interesting you bring that up because Tillis's comment prior to the fight tonight was that I don't sting like a butterfly or float like a bee because I ain't no Muhammad Ali. And he went on from there to talk about being the cowboy from Tulsa.
It's like comparing center fielders to Willie Mays as they did for years. Every good young heavyweight that's got some speed, they compared to Ali. Tillis especially was like that.
That's right. This is round number 6. Downstairs with the punch goes Rawls, but Tillis has been scoring repeatedly with combinations.
These are tough rounds to judge. Very tough rounds to judge.
Just a handful of seconds left in round number 6. Tillis not all that quick, and Rawls showing the effects of what has been a tough 5 rounds, and now 6 rounds as we await the bell.
Yeah, got anything left? Yeah. You're laying out there pretty patting with it. You got to dig with every shot. Yeah.
The man doing the talking there is Eddie Futch.
Get your head on the left side, okay? So you can get your head on the left side and zing those left hook in.
That's not Futch, but that's Eddie to the left of your screen.
Cal Torrance, the other man in there, who has been Rawls' trainer for some time.
Eddie Futch knows his way around heavyweights. And I tell you, just to be a fight trainer, trainer of a fighter, is a lot different than training a heavyweight. Good right hand by Rawls, and he works to the body. Rawls trying to get himself organized and galvanized into action here.
He is showing right now he wants this.
Solid right, and he hurt Tillis with that. And he pounds him out of the body.
Remember we talked about James
Good
Tillis'
right hand.
will to win. Does he have it now?
Rawls is all over him and hammering away. Eddie Futch was on his case pretty good between rounds, telling him to get in there and take charge of this fight. Tillis now trying to fight back and restore some order from his perspective. Good opening 25 or 30 seconds by Rawls, though.
Avery came out and he said, I've got to go after this. And he is digging with the shots like they said. This is the time when Avery Rawls knows I've got to make this fight. This is a career fight. There's no question about that. For him and for Tillis to a great extent also, although Tillis always seems to come back to get a payday here and there.
Well, he's won 36 professional bouts. A very long career, lost only 10. 25 knockouts, and when you think of the caliber of fighter he's been in against, Well, he slaps away at Rawls, who keeps plodding in at him.
And here's where Rawls, with that initial burst, can't quite
maintain it.
Maintain it, exactly. And Tillis, the wily veteran, able to pity-pat his way out of trouble.
Rawls hit him a pretty good right hand, but Tillis didn't seem to be as affected by it as he was a bit earlier, like, well, maybe in round 2.
You saw Tillis land a good left hook and immediately hold on. Rawls continues with the body work. If there's one thing in this fight, though, Tom, that Rawls has done that is better than other fights, it's that left hook to the body and the head. He's shown a good one.
We're in round number 7, scheduled for 10. Nice combination, and again from the jaw down to the body, thrown by Rawls. Tillis gets inside that left hook, and it slides harmlessly past his ear. Time. Hold on, what's going on here?
Well, Rawls got hit with a left hook just as Richard Steele was stepping in.
Some tape loose on the wrapping on the left glove. Tillis taking the occasion to rest up a moment in the corner, and now we're ready to go as the timekeeper continues the count here in round 7.
Well, after a great beginning by Rawls, Tillis has made this round at least a little closer. I don't know that I even winning it, but landed some good shots.
Rawls with a good jab, Tillis with a lunging left. Rawls chases him back, missing with a right hand. Nice left jab by Rawls. Steps in, the right is blocked, and Tillis ties him up. Coming to the close of round number 7. We're at the Showboat in Las Vegas.
Later on in the round, using the jab very effectively, which he has not done all that much throughout the fight, Rawls able to push James Quick Tillis back.
And in the meantime, Bu Williford tried to build a fire under Tillis in his corner between rounds, and you were right there to eavesdrop on all of that conversation.
I wouldn't go to the bank on that scoring, even though I'll stand by it because I think Tillis might be ahead by a point. And a lot of those rounds are very close, so don't be shocked if Avery Rawls is ahead on some of the judges' scorecards right now.
Remember, the 3 judges, not the referees, scored this bout here in Nevada. 10 points. Must system, the winner of the round. Tillis up, moving and dancing about. His corner wants him to stick out that jab, throw some combinations, then move around.
Avery Rawls very sorry that he couldn't get to the Olympics in his native Los Angeles, lost in the Olympic trials, and wants to atone for that in a sense by putting together a real solid professional career. We're going to be out in LA in a couple of weeks over at the Reseda Country Club, see Nunn and Ramos on your home territory.
Michael Nunn is undefeated. Alex Ramos is the state middleweight champion, and they say he can bang it around pretty good.
Oh, he's former great
I
amateur.
tell you, Nunn is so hard to hit.
Very hard indeed. Yeah. That should be a good one as we
nice combinations by Tillis there, but then he fell right into a clinch. He threw a left and a right and then grabbed on. Williford was on his case pretty good about sustaining that type of attack. He's holding again as he ties up Avery Rawls. This is the 8th round, and Rawls has never been past 8. Minute 30 remaining here. Tillis banging away to the body. Rawls is a little slow getting off in this round, Al Bernstein, huh?
He has not been as aggressive as he was in the 7th, and you pointed out as far as he has been in the 8th round. Has Tillis done enough, though?
Oh, good solid right hand to the body thrown by Rawls. Minute remaining. Steele says don't be pushing anybody out here. We're here to fight. No wrestling, no holding, no pushing.
Although we've seen a lot of that in this bout.
We have indeed.
Mostly initiated by Quick.
Watch your head. Work to get out. Work to get out.
Pretty good left by Tillis. And again, punch or two. Not much in the way of combinations, and then tie him up.
Come on, punch this side again.
Half a minute remaining here in round number 8.
Punch it,
We're here at the boat in Las Vegas. 10-round go between these 2 heavyweights. 2-3 unanswered by Tillis. Across the way. Here's Here's Avery Rawls. He's up and ready to go for round number 9. The young heavyweight's never been into the 9th round before. And quite frankly, this is the best heavyweight he's ever been up against. James Quick Tillis. Tough fight to score, Al Bernstein.
I think so, yeah. And I've got Tillis ahead still by the 1 point, but you could make a case either way for lots of those rounds. And I think it is an extraordinarily close fight.
Either man has been hurt, and Rawls had a cut on the cheekbone under the left eye that has not been a factor in any way. Nice right hand by Rawls. Tillis has gone 10. Rawls has never gone past 8. Tillis has been gone 12. He went 12 in the WBA championship bout against Mike Weaver.
He went 15 against Weaver, as a matter of fact. So he is equipped to go a longer distance, as we've mentioned. But the question is, you know, at this stage in his career, 29, is he?
Ooh, right hand. And immediately when he gets nailed, he grabbed Rawls and hung on. Sticks a left hand at Rawls.
Look at how much better Rawls is when he uses the jab to set up that right hand.
That's right.
See, I think he might regret not using that more often earlier. He continues his work for the body, does Avery Rawls.
Chops a right hand to the jaw of Tillis in the interim. Drives Tillis back with the left hand. They fall into a bit of a forehead-to-forehead stance. And Tillis holds on, turns him into the ropes.
You know, in going the 10 with Tyson, the 10 with Biggs, a lot of those other fights, you have to wonder if it took its toll on Tillis as well. He had to win the time before the Boyd fight, a 10-rounder over Eddie Richardson, and even I questioned him about why he couldn't knock Richardson out. Eddie's been getting knocked out by lots of heavyweights, and they said Richardson ran, but still, you would think he might have gotten to him. And of course, he had the 10-round loss to Bugner as well. Good body work.
Slapping left hand by Tillis. Brought a roar of approval from the crowd.
It's been a pretty good round for Rawls. Tillis has had his moments, but Rawls has done that good body work. I'm almost surprised Richard Steele hasn't taken points away from Tillis for holding.
Nice left hand by Rawls, and it followed a very good right hand, and he is scoring heavily inside, and Tillis looks just a bit weary. Half a minute remaining here in round number 9. Well, I told you this was 6-5 and pick'em here in the Vegas line. Despite the fact that someone Wag said, well, listen, Vegas gives everybody a chance to lose. This is going to be a pretty close fight. Unless we badly misjudged the scoring. Good left by Tillis and a solid right by Rawls. And you see the seconds ticking away. Round 9 is in the books. Oh, Williford. Boy, he'll be upset.
This is the last round. You are way behind. You have got to win this fight.
This is the last and final round.
You hear me? Sit back.
James Quick Tillis throwing some left hooks in a round that otherwise I thought was dominated by Avery Rawls. And I think, except for those few brief moments, Avery Rawls really had the better of things.
You need 2 hooks thrown, but neither one landed with any appreciable damage to Rawls. That's Eddie Futch.
Okay, now, watch her get this guy. He's going to try to steal around. You can do it.
Well, Bo Williford was telling Tillis he's already lost the fight.
Interesting.
Yeah. Not an uncommon ploy by trainers in a fight that's close to try and spur their man. A flurry by Tillis, and Rawls hits him with a solid right that stopped all of that for a second.
Now, the reason I have it even is I just feel in those a lot of those close rounds I thought Tillis did a little bit more work in some of them to keep him in the fight. That may not be the case on the judges' scorecards, and I wouldn't quarrel with it because Rawls has been very aggressive during many of the rounds.
Nice left hand by Tillis stopped Rawls.
Don't wrestle, don't push. Punch it, don't push it.
Rawls had a mark under the left eye, but has not been a factor. The cut opened midway through the fight, and Eddie Futch in the corner closed it very quickly. You can see a little smear under the eye right on the cheekbone. Tillis throws 2 and grabs and holds. That's been pretty much his modus operandi here. We're in the 10th round. Slapping left hand.
Tillis putting together some fairly good combinations and flurries here.
Yep. First minute of round 10, Tillis is pretty well had. Now there's a good right hand by Rawls. And Rawls now has an opportunity, it would appear, to put some punches together. Tillis holding on again, but Rawls may be just, hey, 10 rounds is 10 rounds, Al Bernstein. Huh?
And it's the first time he's gone it. He was very aggressive in the 9th, but here in the 10th, Avery slowing down quite a bit.
And Tillis taking advantage of it. Minute 30 remaining. In a fight that's close, this last round is the one the judges remember more than anything else.
If it is that close, which we think it might be, but could go either way.
Rawls holding on, and he seems as tired as anybody else in the ring. Tillis trying to galvanize himself. A minute remaining.
You know, I'd love Richard Steele as a referee, but I disagree with that comment he just made. Last round, as if telling them, hey, you got to fight more. They're fighting as hard as they can, that's all. They're tired.
Yeah, they're tired. No question about that.
Keep them up.
Tillis, boy, came and throw that left, took Rawls just as tired. It's been a fairly quick pace for heavyweights. Not outrageous, but fairly quick.
Rawls still trying to find that one punch that'll put Tillis down. Tillis has been in with some of the very best that have ever climbed around in this division in the last 8 years, or 7 years.
Do you like Rawls' body shots or Tillis' shots to the head in this last round? It almost comes down to that.
Right. Quite frankly, the shots to the jaw are a bit more impressive as far as crowds. There's the bell. It's over.
Here is the decision of the judges. Judge Art Lurie scores 97 Tillis, 94 Rawls. Judges Dave Moretti and Jerry Roth each score the bout 95 Rawls, 95 Tillis. The decision is a draw.